Imagine a building so vast it once rivaled the US Capitol in size, a place built with hope, but drowned in horror, where whispers echo through endless stone corridors and shadows seem to walk on their own. This is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, West Virginia's most haunted hospital. Welcome back to the channel, mystery lovers. If you're fascinated by haunted history, cursed places, and stories that make your skin crawl, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a trip into the strange and supernatural. Now, let's unlock the doors to the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, the birth of a madhouse. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum began with good intentions. Designed in the mid-1800s based on the Kirkbride Plan, a revolutionary approach to mental health care, the hospital aimed to treat patients with dignity and fresh air. Construction began in 1858 in Weston, West Virginia, but was interrupted by the Civil War. During the conflict, Union soldiers seized the asylum before it ever treated a single patient. By 1864, it officially opened its doors. Initially designed for 250 patients, it was an architectural marvel: stone walls, high ceilings, sunlit windows. It looked more like a castle than a hospital, but over the next century, that dream would twist into a nightmare. From hope to horror, the problem: overcrowding. By the 1950s, the asylum housed over 2,400 patients, almost 10 times its intended capacity. Conditions deteriorated fast. Patients were crammed into filthy rooms, left without beds, and sometimes chained to walls. The staff was overwhelmed and undertrained. Treatments became increasingly brutal: electroshock therapy, lobotomies, ice baths. Even the so-called tranquilizer chairs were more torture than treatment. Patients screamed, some wandered the halls aimlessly for years, and others simply vanished. Meet lobotomy's biggest fan. Enter Dr. Walter Freeman, the infamous neurologist and America's self-declared lobotomobile operator. Freeman traveled the country in his van, performing lobotomies in hospitals, clinics, and yes, the Trans-Allegheny Asylum. Armed with an ice pick and a mallet, Freeman inserted the tool above the eyeball and hammered into the frontal lobe. He believed it cured everything from depression to disobedience. In reality, it left many patients permanently damaged or dead. The asylum became one of the epicenters of this controversial practice: the souls left behind. Over the years, thousands of patients died within its walls. Some were buried in unmarked graves on the property, but death didn't seem to bring peace. Visitors and staff have reported hearing screams, crying, and whispers, especially in the Civil War wing in the women's ward. Some say they've seen full-bodied apparitions: a little girl giggling near the staircase, a man in white pacing the halls, and even a nurse pushing an invisible wheelchair. The most haunted rooms. Let's talk about the hot spots. Room 218 is nicknamed the suicide room. It's believed to be haunted by a man who hanged himself with bed sheets. People report being scratched or pushed when entering. The fourth floor is another legend. There's said to be a violent entity named Big Jim who once murdered a fellow patient. Paranormal investigators have captured shadow figures and unexplained growls there. Then there's Lily's room. Legend says Lily was a young girl born in the asylum who died of illness or neglect. Her laughter is often heard, and visitors sometimes find toys mysteriously moved or music boxes playing on their own. Haunted tours and real screams. Today, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is a full-blown paranormal destination. Daytime historical tours run regularly, but it's the overnight ghost hunts that attract thrill seekers. Paranormal investigators have captured EVPs, thermal footage, and bizarre magnetic field changes. Even skeptics have fled the building after feeling watched, touched, or physically ill. It's become a staple of shows like Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Lockdown, and Destination Fear. Real patient stories. While the asylum is rich with legend, many real-life tragedies occurred here. One woman was institutionalized by her husband simply for reading too much. Another man spent 30 years locked up for what was diagnosed at the time as religious excitement. There are accounts of patients being misdiagnosed, mistreated, or completely forgotten. Families who couldn't care for loved ones dropped them off and never returned. These are the stories that make this place truly haunting, not just for the ghosts, but for what society allowed. Ghost hunting gone wrong. Several paranormal investigators have had terrifying encounters inside. One group reported being locked in a room they hadn't entered yet. Another caught an EVP saying, "Get out, now!" Moments later, a camera was thrown across the room. A security guard once claimed he saw a shadow run into a wall and disappear. Thinking it was a trespasser, he searched all night. No one was there. Even seasoned professionals describe the energy here as oppressive, intelligent, and sometimes angry. It's more than just ghosts. But the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum isn't just about ghost stories. It's a mirror of mental health history. It reminds us how far we've come and how far we still need to go. Today, mental health is treated with more understanding and care, but stigmas still exist. Places like this are chilling time capsules, proof of the damage done when society abandons compassion in the name of control. The asylum today, the building is now privately owned and preserved as both a historical landmark and paranormal site. Events range from Civil War reenactments to flashlight tours and full overnight investigations. Revenue from tourism helps preserve the crumbling structure and fund education about its dark past. If you're brave enough, you can book your own overnight stay. Just bring a flashlight and maybe a rosary. Dark tourism and local impact. Since its reopening as a historic and paranormal attraction, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum has drawn thousands of visitors each year. Ghost hunters, history buffs, and curiosity seekers flock to Weston, West Virginia, to experience the building's chilling atmosphere for themselves. This rise in dark tourism has breathed new life into the town's economy, with nearby hotels, restaurants, and shops benefiting from the eerie intrigue. However, some locals remain divided. While many appreciate the economic boost, others are uncomfortable with profiting from a place of pain and suffering. Still, the asylum's caretakers insist their mission isn't exploitation, it's education. Every tour, ghost hunt, and event is designed to both thrill and teach, shedding light on the darker chapters of America's mental health history. Architectural marvel and decay. Believe it or not, the Trans-Allegheny Asylum is also an architectural masterpiece. It's the largest hand-cut stone masonry building in North America, and second only to the Kremlin worldwide. Its design followed the Kirkbride plan, meant to promote healing through structure. Long wings extended from a central hub to ensure fresh air and sunlight reached every room. Today, while much of the building has decayed from years of neglect, the grandeur still remains. Crumbling staircases, peeling paint, and rusted beds only add to the eerie beauty. Restoration efforts are ongoing, with some sections now fully stabilized for tours. But many wings remain untouched, frozen in time, like a real-life haunted museum. Reported time slips and strange phenomena. Visitors to the asylum often report more than just bumps in the night. Some claim to have experienced time slips, brief, intense moments where they feel transported into the past. A few have described entering a hallway that suddenly looked new, with flickering lanterns instead of electric lights, and distant voices calling from a time long gone. Others say they've lost track of time inside the building, emerging from a room only to find hours have passed. These phenomena remain unexplained, but some paranormal experts believe the asylum's intense emotional energy could be distorting reality. Whether it's supernatural or psychological, one thing is clear. The asylum doesn't just haunt, it manipulates. Unsolved mysteries and missing records. Over a century of operation, the asylum saw thousands of patients, yet many records have vanished. Some files were lost during renovations, others intentionally destroyed. This lack of documentation means many patients' fates remain unknown. Were they transferred, released, or did they die behind those cold stone walls? One chilling story involves a wing where a patient was supposedly walled in alive, though no body was ever found. Another tells of a nurse who vanished during her shift, never seen again. While these may sound like legends, the missing records make them disturbingly plausible. The asylum's history isn't just haunted, It's incomplete, and that mystery only deepens the unease. Conclusion: echoes of the forgotten, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum stands as a beautiful ruin, a place where architecture meets anguish, where spirits may never rest. It's easy to focus on the ghost stories, but the real horror lies in the silence of the forgotten. Thanks for watching, brave souls. If this deep dive into the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum gave you chills, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more haunted history and eerie explorations.